Come on with
He who
it.
has an ear, let him hear. Let us come reason together, baby.
Are you listening?
Yeah. Oh.
Yo, what up, world, on this late night?
Emphasis on late.
Man, I know y'all still up, man. Y'all watching that LeBron game, so don't act like it's too late for y'all.
Preach.
But yeah, man, welcome to Come Reason Together Radio. Boy, Step the Messaging. Boy, Mr. Frosty.
Yo, man, I'm just glad to be here this evening. You know, there's a lot to get done, but this is so important. And so glad, man, that you've opened it up for this opportunity to even be possible.
Yeah, man, God willing, man, we here, to do what we do, man. And that's to bring this, truth, clarity, and perspective regarding, the word of God and things like that, man. And we just, following up with last week's, I don't know if it was last week, but.
Yeah, we got to get a consistent schedule or something.
Yeah.
It's okay, though. It's all right, though. Oh, man. Last week, I think it was it last week, man? Time is flying.
Yeah. I think so.
Last week?
Yeah, we talked about, are you ashamed of God? But today, man, we're going to be talking about, which God is real.
Yeah. I think someone asks, is there one God, or how do you know if there's one God or many gods?
How do you know that there is one God or many gods?
That's a very loaded question.
The society we living in, man, everybody got their God, man, and everybody is right by default because it's the God they choose, man. But we just want to bring some, some logical insight to.
We're going to try. Because this is a topic that's been debated for centuries. And so we're going to try to answer that in a podcast. So, oh, man.
The scriptures say with God,
all things are possible, I guess. So we're going to dive in. I think the biggest thing is this. Think.
You think, huh?
Right. Think. Think about what you're doing. Don't just do what you're doing. Think.
Just think about it. Why is that important? Man? What you trying to say?
Because socialization is dangerous. Socialization will have you doing things and not realizing why you're doing it. Therefore, the what is questionable. I'm trying to think of an example of that. Things that we do that we don't really think about, but we hold true. The church, going to church. A lot of people really don't know why they go to church. It's just something, women want a church-going man, right? That's not the same thing as being a godly man, right? And so when we're taught these ideas and then our behavior reflects these ideas that aren't necessarily grounded in rationale or logic. It's just, my mama did it, my grandmama did it, that's what I've been doing, that's what I will continue doing. Make sure your actions are lining up with your goal and intentions. Don't do things without intention.
Don't do things without intention. And man, with that being said, some people say, our belief systems is only based off of, where we was born, and what we was taught, what our mamas, daddies, grandmas, whoever taught us. Basically they say, we wouldn't believe what we believe if we were somewhere else in the world.
How do they know that? That's what I mean. Like, we also live in an age where you can say whatever, but nobody questions you about what you're saying. So it's not politically, it's empowering to speak your mind. It is politically incorrect to have your mind challenged. Yeah, so people just be like saying stuff like that question. It sounds deep, right? Well, if I was born somewhere else, I'm like, how do you know that? You weren't born somewhere else. You were born here.
But they say that because, people in other places, they believe something else.
Yeah, but people down the street from you believe something else. right? People in your same home believe something else.
I mean, that's true. That's true. So, with that said, you know what I'm saying? What to believe then?
All right, so here's the thing. I'm gonna do my best, right? I'm gonna do my best. I don't even know if any of this is gonna make sense, but let's get into it. Come reason together. Here's the thing, right? What you believe and why you believe it need to go hand in hand. That's first and foremost.
What you believe and why you believe it.
Right. You need to have a set of belief systems that are smooth.
Smooth. What you mean by smooth?
Okay, so think of an iron tablet, right? Like a pill. And it's iron and it's sleek, right? And it just kind of, you can't tell where it begins or where it ends. It just is this thing. Your doctrine, your ideology should function the same way. And when you have hiccups, you got to answer that.
You got hiccups in your ideology of what you believe.
I deal with Christianity, and I'm probably going to offend somebody, but that's okay. I deal with Christianity. So you say you love God with all your heart. That's what you tell people when you're at church and singing songs, right? But in your actual life, that's not the case. We don't see that anywhere else but at church. There's a contradiction. You need to deal with that. Here's another one. We're going to deal with this in another podcast, but this whole, we're now under grace. The problem, I was like, well, when weren't we under grace?
All right, boy.
No, I'm just saying, but that's what I mean. Like, so if you have this idea, this doctrine, this belief, this ideology in your belief system, it can't contradict other ideologies in your belief system. That's all. So regardless if you say you believe in it, keep it smooth. Right? So that's from your perspective. And then what you believe in, make sure that's smooth.
All right, but then, people going to go there with it. Like, man, everybody belief system got something.
Mine doesn't. Who wants to smoke? No, for real. You may not agree with it, but you won't find a contradiction in it. So you might see my little pill, my iron smooth pill, and be like, man, that shouldn't be iron, that should be gold. That's your opinion. But you're not going to find a contradiction within the substance of my theology. So if you say you believe in something, people be like, oh, I love my kids, but you're constantly at the club every night and your child is failing at school. That's a contradiction.
Oh, no.
You have to answer that. I'm a good person, but you dogging out everybody. You have to answer that. How do these two things coexist? And so people hide behind belief, because true, and let me say this. Everything takes a amount of faith. Everything. Because nobody was here at the very beginning. Everything takes an amount of faith. Because nobody was here at the beginning. Right? And we're talking about eternal concepts. And we're finite. We're limited. However, with that being said, with that being true for everything, some of the stuff y'all believe is just stupid. Yeah, I said it. Yes, I did. So it's just, it doesn't make any sense. Admit your stuff don't make sense. Be like, yeah, man, it makes no sense, but I just believe it. Okay, I can't argue with you. But when you try to sell me on what you believe, you selling me a product that has shown not to work. You're trying to teach me something that has shown me not to work.
Yeah, somebody do that with a car, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
We gonna look at them stupid.
Exactly.
What you mean, bro? Your engine don't even.
But it's a great car though. It runs well. It has no engine. Where is it running to, bro? Right. Where is it going? No engine. But you like, oh, it runs great. There's a contradiction.
Right.
Solve that. So I was talking to this guy online. So I guess we're typing, not talking. But he's a black Hebrew, right? And there's a lot of different sects.
The gangbangers of.
Don't do them like that. I mean, it's kind of true, though. Like, now here's the thing. One thing I respect about them greatly, at least in my interactions that I've had thus far, they're unified and they're super assertive. So this guy came into He had the Hebrew name. He's definitely African American though. You know, his name's probably like Tyrone or something, but now it's like Nahum Shabab or something like that. But
You gonna say Tyrone?
yeah, for real. So he came on. This is a Christian Bible study, and I appreciate. And I told him I love that boldness. He came and said, "Yeah, so all you white people on here are devils, and all the black people on here, y'all are of Israel. God's chosen."
Dang, y'all devils?
Yo, he came in with the hot fire. And here's the thing. He was well educated. His delivery was awful, but he was well educated. So they're asking him questions, and he, right? They said, well, so you said Jesus only died. And it's a mistake people make. They don't ask people what they believe in. They assume that the label answers the question. And so they assume that he's only Old Testament. He's not. He believes in the Bible in its entirety.
Oh, they know.
Right. And so when they hit him with, oh, well, Jesus died for the Jews and the Gentiles, he's like, well, the Gentiles, and this is a very obscure meaning, but he's correct. And it's like certain dialect or a certain definition. You know how one word has like 5 definitions? One of the definitions of a Gentile is someone who is a Jew, but has like gone away or gone astray somewhere else. He's now chilling with the Greeks or whatever. But he's still a Jew, though. He may not know it. And so that's who he was saying, right? And so I'm asking questions because that's what you're supposed to do, right? Because he's presenting, we're talking about, is there one God or not, right?
Right.
Which is really based upon a belief system. He's presenting his belief system.
Right.
I'm like, cool. So I asked him a question. I said, so do you believe in the New Testament? He's like, absolutely. I believe in God. And he said, I believe in the Torah. There's something else. There's some, people want to use big words. It should sound impressive, right? And I'm like, okay. He's like, yeah, I believe in all that. I believe in the Word of God.
Right.
I said, okay. I said, so you believe only Jews are saved? He was like, yeah.
Only Jews.
Only Jews. Yo, let me tell you, though. Now, this Bible study has about 100, 200 people in it.
Wow.
This man comes, but I love that boldness. My thing is, stand on what you believe in. Stand.
So you like that? He was.
Oh, man. He was like, yes. Only Jews will be saved. I'll repeat that. Only Jews will be saved. And so people freaking out, right? And he's defending it cool, calm, collected. He's like, y'all don't read enough to even really be talking to me. Here's a link to this, and this. He breaking them off, right?
Step your game up.
Yeah, because that's what happens when you have a belief system and it crashes in somebody else's and you're not educated even in what you believe, right? Because all he has them questioning themselves. And so I'm sitting in the back, right, letting this go because, like I said, I have a nice little iron pill.
He just peeping the scene.
And so, and that's the thing, we shouldn't be offended by other people's belief systems. That's retarded to me. I'm sorry, retarded is politically incorrect. That makes no sense to me. And so,
it doesn't make any sense to be offended.
yeah, well, I'm going to be offended by what you believe in. Unless you're trying to sacrifice my child, then, we'll have a problem.
So
if you're trying to lynch me on a tree and be like, this is just my part of my belief, yeah. But if you believe that, socks are gods, that's very confusing. Being that socks are made by people, I can show you how socks are made. We can YouTube that joint.
Right.
I can knit a sock. But I'm not going to be offended by your belief system. People are offended. He was like, yeah, Jew. Yeah, if you ain't a Jew, you're pretty much going to hell. And so I'm like, okay, cool. I said, so only Jews are saved. Again, we're talking about you need to have a seamless theology.
Consistent.
And that theology just means belief in God. Study of God. That's all that theology means. You got to either, whatever your God is, whatever, it needs to just be smooth and consistent. And so I asked him a question. I said, okay, so only Jews are saved. He said, yeah. I said, dang, so Adam didn't make it.
Ooh.
I was like, dang, shout out to Noah. He survived the flood, but he ain't going to survive the second coming. He ain't Jew enough.
Ooh, he went there with it. He
So-
said Adam ain't a Jew.
Because he's not. Abraham is not a Jew.
Ooh, bro, you stepping on.
No, Abraham he came from Ur.
Bro, you crushing dreams out here.
I'm not trying to crush dreams, though. I'm just simply saying we're talking about having a seamless theology, right? That's a whole. I'm not even saying you're wrong, but you have to. So I said, so Abraham is not going to be saved? Melchizedek, who Christ in Hebrews is compared to, not Levitical priests. And if you want to know more about that story, I think that's Genesis 11 when Abraham. I'm gonna go into that story right now. I guess we could. Should we go into that?
Oh man. But yeah, keep explaining. I got you.
Yeah, I think it's Genesis 11. I could be wrong about that. You know what? We here. Let me go ahead and make sure I'm not tripping.
So Genesis 11.
Hold on, don't quote me on it.
What's his name? Melchizedek. And if y'all know of that scripture too, you know, y'all welcome to, you know.
Yo, I'm
shout
saying
it
Genesis
out.
11. Yo, it's actually Genesis 14. So I'm 3 chapters off.
Yeah, y'all welcome to shout it out if y'all
But-
know.
But it's this guy, right? Is after this, I won't go into. When we deal with tithing, we're gonna go into that story on Genesis 14, and that's not. I'm not trying to focus on that. But it's this like kind of priest king who shows up, and Abraham immediately gives respect, right? This guy wasn't a Hebrew, and this is who Christ is compared to in Hebrews, right? So he wasn't. I said, so he's not going to be saved either. The person whose Christ is compared to, who says I'm of this order because I'm not connected to any lineage. I didn't get here through genetics. Because if you're going to be a real priest in the Levitical system, that was the children of Aaron. You had to come from a certain tribe, from a certain bloodline.
Right.
Christ said, no, I'm more like this guy who came out of nowhere, and immediately Abraham, game recognized game, real recognized real, and Abraham paid respect. And all dude did was come and praise God. That's all he did. He just came praising God. And Abraham was like, oh yeah, respect. All y'all kings here, pay that man. Get that man, break him off. Straight out. So I said, he's not saved either. And so the black Hebrew, he gets quiet. So then he comes back and he's like, you're picking at straws because you don't want to deal with the truth. See, the thing is, when people do not want to face the contradictions in their belief systems, they often get hostile or they'll attack you. Why are you attacking me? I just asked you a question about something you presented.
All because they don't want to face.
So he's like, you don't want to face truth? You're just been brainwashed? I said, that might be the case, but this question is still here. Is he saved or not? I'm just trying to figure out what you on, because you might be right. He's like, well, I just feel like you're grabbing at straws. I said, wait a second. And I just went through posts. I was like, you're killing these people for not going to the Bible and not reading the Bible. I respect that. I come from your belief system. I come from the Word of God. And now you're telling me not to use that part because you don't have an answer for it. He gets quiet again.
He backed up on you.
He comes back. He's like, well, what nationality are you? I said, I'm not really sure what that has to do with the conversation because I can tell you my nationality. What does it matter?
Right.
Because the question still is, that means, are you saying that Adam isn't going to be... Like, when you make that statement, you have to back that up, at least within your own belief system. I said, you're better off admitting you don't know, because then I can still respect you. But when you're trying to defend foolishness, then you look foolish. And
Did he say he didn't know?
no, he just got quiet again. And so then me and this gentleman was talking, and he's like, he probably thinks, all the Bible characters are black. I'm like, well, actually, 95% of the Bible actually occurred in Africa. And so I'm educating this white guy, and then the black Hebrew comes in and it's like, that's what I'm talking about. Don't let these white devils. I was like, wait. I said, you got an answer to that hole yet? Do you have an answer to that hole yet? I said, because until you do, we can't talk about nothing else. So I went to everything he's involved in, and I just presented the question. I ain't trying to hear. You got to answer that.
He said, there ain't no running from it.
Don't run.
Till you.
You shouldn't. If you have a theology that has that kind of contradiction in it, I don't care if you're Christian, Hebrew, Muslim, whatever. It has that kind of contradiction. You need to sit down somewhere and figure that out. You should lose sleep. If this iron pill I have, if one day somebody shows me a chink in that, a hole in that, I'm losing sleep until I figure out what that is.
Right. You ain't going to ignore it.
I can't ignore that. So when we talk about is there one God or many gods, regardless of what you believe in, you need to have a seamless theology based upon whatever you believe in. But a lot of times these questions are asked as a scapegoat to keep people from believing anything. But there's something in your heart that feels accountable. You know you're wrong. But you just want to hide behind confusion. Well, how do we know? How do we know? So that's first thing. Whatever you believe in, even if you don't believe, if you're an atheist, be an atheist. I had an atheist I was talking to, man. It's funny. I've talked to a few atheists. Real high intellectual guys, all that. Real smart dudes, And they're like... So this guy, I worked at this program called Freedom School. And it's really working with inner city kids. It's a literary program. Yeah, this is like years ago. I was young. I was first starting out in the field, and really
Went behind your ears.
doing some of the things I'm doing now. I started there. Shout out to Freedom School.
Okay.
But he worked. We're at a training now, mind you. He's the only. He's like the only white guy, and it's like maybe I'm talking about just in Kansas City. I might have the numbers wrong. It's like 500 of us. It's maybe 2 white people, maybe 3, right? Amongst like the 12, 13 sites in the city at the time. And we're talking. He's like, yeah, I'm an atheist. I don't understand how people believe in God. And he's killing Christians. They're coming with stuff, and he just hitting them with, ooh.
You seen it in action.
Yeah, because their pill wasn't solid. Right? And so he's just picking them apart. And so I'm just listening. Because, we should listen to people before we try to, engage them. Christians out there. Clean your ears before you run your mouth. You know what I mean? But anyway, so I'm listening to dude, and he's making some solid points. And so we find someone comes and get me. I'm in another room. And so someone comes to get me, and I'm just listening to him. And I just asked him some questions. I'm like, okay, so you're an atheist? He's like, yeah. I said, so why are you here? He said, what do you mean? I said, well, you are a smart guy. He had an internship he turned down at Apple or something.
What?
Yeah, something like that. Some big tech company he turned down to work with kids. I said, you have 60 to 70 years to live. You're a smart guy. Why are you here dealing with these black kids you know are going to treat you different because you white? He said, man, he thought about it. And he's like, well, the good in my heart. I said, what is that?
The good in his heart.
I said, what is that? Because rationally, it doesn't make sense. What you mean the good in your heart? What is that? That will put you in a situation to be humiliated. What is that? I said, now, the Bible says there's a sense of godliness in everybody, but how do you explain it through your belief system?
That's a good question.
Yeah, he thought so too. And he gave me dap. He was like, yeah, that's a good question.
So he never answered it?
No, because there isn't one. Not for him.
Right.
Because I saw him. I said, bro, I see the God of you. You just denying it exists. But why are you here? And so whatever it is, and a lot of times, and for those who are listening on a podcast or watching live, sit down with your belief system and really, really iron it out. Make it smooth. And if there's bumps, answer that.
Put your ego to the side, man. And
Answer that.
them.
So people are like, well, that doesn't tell you if there's many gods or not. Here's the thing. The answer to that question is an impossible question for me to prove to you.
It's impossible to prove. Why is that?
Because I can't sit down and bring beings here to talk about it. I can't present that before you. But we can do a little thought exercise about this idea. Now, here's my challenge to anybody. The Bible is the only manuscript that not only explains where man comes from, but explains why man will not succeed.
Why man will not succeed?
Yeah, let me tell you what got me really studying the Bible. It wasn't people, right? I just could not deny the logic because what didn't make sense to me, I said, why isn't man evolving?
What you mean, why?
We're getting smarter. No, we're not getting smarter. I can't even say that. Yeah. We are...
The smartest we was ever going to be is...
I can't... That's another debate for another day. But we have... Technology is furthering. We can say that, right? But we still fighting over the same stuff that we've been fighting over for the last 800 years.
What you mean?
9,000 years. Power, control. Even though both have been proven to be illusions. Power and control. Man is not evolving because we should be at a point now where we're all in a barter system, because we see the history of war and bloodshed and how that hasn't solved anything. Right. We should be at a point now where it's peace. We're like, man, we got 900,000 years of history to prove that this doesn't work.
Exactly.
Yet we still out here killing each other. Instead of using swords and shields, now we use guns. And then in 20, 50 years from now, we're going to be using laser rays or something. But I promise you what will not change is man's carnal nature, and it doesn't make any sense to me. The Bible explains that. The problem is a lot of Christians can't explain it because they don't study either.
But how you know, like a Quran or something don't explain?
Well, I tell people, have you read the Quran? Like, for real, talk to a Muslim and have them really explain the Quran to you. Have you just go to Barnes and Noble and read the Quran? And people will make the argument with the Bible. Well, if I just read the Bible straight, I'll be confused. I'm like, not really. Not really. But if you read the Bible in pockets and then listen to other people, and then you do that, then yeah, you'll be super confused. But I was like, just study. I tell people, go study Quran. I got into it, and then at the hour, I was like, oh, no, this is ill. So I asked other Muslims. I'm looking up stuff. I'm like, okay. And they couldn't answer certain questions or wouldn't answer certain questions. I was like, nah, I know what that is.
He said they wouldn't.
I'm good. Yeah.
Why wouldn't they answer it, though?
Because stuff gets uncomfortable, man. Because the things get uncomfortable.
What's wrong with something being uncomfortable?
Because
if it's the truth,
it's the reason why people don't like to admit they don't know things. It's an ego thing. Right? So when someone asks me a question about, these kind of questions, how do I know there's not one God or many gods? I say, well, what do you believe in? You're using the lack of evidence to make a decision. I say, what are you doing with the evidence that you do have, though?
What are you doing with the evidence you do have?
And a lot of times these people go to other religions to not deal with that question within themselves. So now I can blame the pastor or my priest or whoever.
Skip Christianity, man. I'm going to the black woke movement.
Someone was like, yeah, I want to be a Buddhist because they reincarnate. It's not have you studied reincarnation? You know what they actually believe in? You don't? Why don't you do that before you run your mouth? Go study. Go study. Study religions that have many gods. And you tell me, does that make sense to you? If you're like, the Bible doesn't make sense, I said, you haven't had the right person teach you.
But they can say that with any book.
Yo, I have not had that experience. And if there's anybody, look, hit us up, ask me on the podcast, we'll have you as a guest. You prepare your stuff, I prepare my stuff, and we'll see.
So if anybody can show an inconsistency in the Bible or something.
I'm with it. Come on. And it's not me being arrogant. It's not me believing I'm better than anybody. I'm like, but I believe I have an iron pill. Come show me the hole. But what religions do is cover up holes. They'll be like, oh.
You just got to accept that by faith.
Look away. Look away. No, his thoughts are above our thoughts. Don't ask questions.
Right.
That's
He's a holy being.
You're saying me asking you questions about God is disrespectful to God because you don't have the answer. Just say that. Otherwise, it's about to be a really uncomfortable conversation for you.
So basically, you saying it's just a cop-out.
Absolutely. And again, anybody wants to challenge me on it, look, we on Facebook. Shoot a question. This is not aggression. All right? This is bewilderment. Like, what are y'all talking about? So the Bible has literally predicted man's current state. The Bible, which took thousands of years to write, had who knows how many authors, and all of them on the same page. You got to explain that, bro. Who else is on that? And still explaining why things are moving the way they're moving today. That's why those who study prophecy in the Bible aren't surprised about things that are happening.
Is there any other book out there, prophesying like that?
I mean, people ain't gonna like this answer, but it's for real. Like, Ellen G. White. For real, Steps to Christ. Check it out. And this is not me. I don't care about religions.
Denominations.
I do not care. Let me say this again. I am a follower of Christ, and I can care less about religions. They're platforms. Anything's going to help me with kingdom build. I don't care. You Protestant, Methodist, Muslim, whatever. You going to give me a platform to show people truth? Absolutely. I'm an opportunist. I'm an opportunist. So, no, I'm not defending religion. If it makes sense, it makes sense. Steps to Christ. If you believe in the Bible, it's an incredible book. as far as insight and things like that are concerned.
Right, but that book points back to the Bible too. You know, saying, like,
Everything kind of points back to the
is there
Bible.
anything out there that don't, you know what I'm saying, that predicts, you know, whatever's going
I haven't seen it.
If y'all know, man, let us.
And I'm talking about specifically. Like, there are things the Bible predicted very specifically that actually happened. Like, I'm not talking about, oh, the world's going to end. Like, okay, yeah, well, you know, we have a star. Stars burn out eventually.
It ain't like that that pseudo psychology, you know, astrology, you know what I'm saying? If you're a Taurus, it predicts, you know what I'm saying?
Here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. And this is about to be a real ill statement, and I understand Christians probably will get upset. A lot of these things don't contradict the Bible.
A lot of these things. What things?
I can't. Some people believe that based on what month you're born in and the tide and the moon, it has a certain effect on your personality. That may be true. That doesn't contradict the Bible.
So basically, you saying nothing about that goes against.
No, I ain't gonna say nothing about that because when you go deeper into that, it gets crazy. It gets nuts. It gets nuts when you get deeper into it. But on the surface, I'm like, yeah, that doesn't really. But when you start worshiping the moon and saying there's a moon god, I'm like, yeah, it doesn't explain anything to me.
You know, they say nature is God.
Yeah, and I'm like, you can't teach how. You can tell me that, but you can't teach me that because it's not really based on. I see cow. You tell me grass is God, and I see cows eating grass, but then I eat the cow, which ate the grass. So, is it divine transference or, you know, like it's? But a lot of it, there is something in us that wants to worship, and logic in our minds, we understand that there is something bigger than us, and something happened. And there's something in us we're trying to. Now, what I would say is we're trying to connect with the Creator and don't know how. So we do these other things. You know, people who are looking to be loved, so they end up in these bad relationships.
Look for love.
Yeah, because they're looking for validation, right? And they think this person will give it to them. This person, what you're not looking. You don't really care about that person. You care about being validated, right? People like they worship this and that and the other. I'm like, oh no, you're really looking for your Creator. You just were given bad answers, and now you're trying to find on your own.
Like there's examples of like, you know, certain homosexuality. Certain.
Oh, geez, Stefan, you trying
homosexual, bro.
to get us destroyed on
Nah,
the
it ain't
streets.
that. I'm saying
We're
like.
about to get banned. I hope y'all enjoyed this. We about to get banned today.
You should. No,
Thank you, Steph the Messenger.
You should. You know what I'm saying? Of course, all sin is equal. You know what I'm saying? None is greater than the other.
Mm-hmm.
But they leave, you know, they run from the Bible and all that because it, you know, and they run from God too because it says like God doesn't accept it.
Well, it's the first lie we're told. We're good people. And that lie destroys everything later on. You're a great person. So if I'm a great person, I want to interrupt myself to explain through a story. So I work with parents who have lost their children to the state, and I teach parent education. That's one of the things I do. I teach parent education, and I teach these parents how to be better parents and also set them up to get their children back. And I had a parent, right now we're going through it, because she cannot accept that her parental strategies are actually hurting her children. Because for her to accept that in her mind, that means she's a bad parent. And if she has accepted she's a bad parent, that means she's a bad person. And she can't be a bad person because she knows bad people. So if I accept I'm a bad person, then I'm just like those people. And that means I'm also a bad person too. And I believe those people deserve to be judged and hanged. That means I got to think the same thing about myself. So I'm going to refute all of that and say I'm a great parent. The problem is my child. People do the same thing when it comes to God. Then I have to accept that I'm in need. I got to accept that I'm broken. No, I'm strong. I'm strong. And so if I can't get it here, I'm going to find someone who agrees with me. And so now this self-empowerment movement, which is a sham, by the way, is now it's blown up.
It's blowing up.
Yeah. Please understand it's a setup for meds. Yeah.
Well, dang, so they just going to go look for validation in the wrong place.
Well, because it has to do with someone whose pill, going back to that analogy, wasn't solid, tried to teach them without dealing with their own inconsistencies. To me, that's the biggest problem with Christianity. You have people talking and no one telling them to shut up. Sit down somewhere. You don't know nothing.
Right.
You have these glaring holes, or because you have a title or you have a following, nobody can challenge you. Sit down. You have holes. Answer those before you open your mouth.
Right. But because of their position, a person who's not, in their position, like you were just saying, their title, can't really deal with them.
And people ain't dumb, so people be like, what you saying don't make sense. But what they'll do is throw out the baby with the bathwater.
Skip the whole Christianity.
No person is God.
Right. No person is God.
So quit treating them like it. Oh, I turned away from the church because such an elder person, sister, whoever said whatever. So, what's this truth looking like?
He said, what is truth looking
What is this truth looking like? What is your theology looking like? And everybody should have a solid theology. What is it looking like? But we don't want to accept that we are in need of help.
We are in need of
Yeah.
what you mean?
Because people don't like the sovereignty of God. Like, that's really what it comes down to. People do not like... You go to Job, right? Please read the book of Job.
He said people don't like the
They don't like... What is sovereignty? I do what I want to do, and I don't necessarily have to explain that to you. They don't like that.
We do that to our kids.
Yeah, we don't like people doing that to us.
Right.
Your boss talking to you like that. What do you mean?
Who you talking to?
And God is like, no, I want you. I don't need you. And you can be replaced. To the left, to the like. That can be you. But I want you to come along with me. Right? But because people don't explain what we call the great controversy, how all this started correctly, then there's these glaring holes. And so people say, okay, look, I know there's something. This person that I trust and I want to believe is telling me what this something is. But when I start asking them questions, I get crucified for it. And over here, they're telling me there's a something too. They're not denying that, but they're telling me it's something else that asking makes me feel good.
Right. So they stick with the lie.
Yeah, it's not requiring real change. And Christianity has turned to that. It's not requiring real change.
Man, y'all gonna let him say that, y'all?
Oh, really? Word? You don't
Y'all
put me
gonna
up
let
in
him
this?
say that? Y'all Christians, ain't you?
So to the homosexual, I'm like, oh, bro, you struggling like the rest of us.
Come get in line.
Come and join this brokenness. We all here, bro. You in good company.
Right.
You like. If you're a man, you like, man, I love women and I'm married. Yeah, bro. Let's pray for each other, hold each other up.
Right. But to call that brokenness, man.
Oh, man, that's a bad word.
Yeah, like, no, I'm happy.
Yeah. So now what we're starting to see is humanism. People want to self-worship.
Self-worship.
I am God. And they're not saying it directly, but like, I don't need anything. The energy comes within me. And don't get me wrong, human beings are incredible creatures. That's because you look like your daddy.
Because you look like your daddy.
You're made in the Creator's image. So when you let it go off the blocks, the fear, the insecurity, when you let it weaponize faith in oneself can go a long freaking way.
Right.
Unfortunately, there are supernatural forces in this world that trumps our own efforts.
Right.
That's why you don't hear nobody say they're perfect. Why doesn't anybody say that? Isn't that weird? Isn't that strange?
I'm perfect.
Right. Nobody wants to say that. Why aren't you? If you're a man, God, as you're trying to sell me on. That's what I mean. Answer these holes. Attack the holes. Now, that doesn't mean be belligerent and rebellious, but attack the holes. And what you will find, if you're doing it with a sound mind and with reasoning, not only are things not making sense, but the person who's explaining it to you ain't making sense either. Next. But what I believe is this is someone who believes in the Bible, the Word of God. If you're sincerely seeking, you're going to find. The thing is, you become so confident in these questions you think can't be answered. What do you do when you find someone who actually has answers to those questions? Will you be humble enough to receive it, or are you going to run again?
Will you be humble enough to receive it? That's a good point, B.
Straight out.
Will you be humble enough to receive
People are like, I want truth. No, you don't. You don't want truth. Nobody really wants truth for real.
Because you finally get it, and it like...
Truth is always uncomfortable because the first truth is self-truth. And the truth about yourself is you suck as a person. And you don't want that. So we get these degrees, we get these cars, we get all this stuff. You know, we found a beautiful mate. Look at my life. We want to compare ourselves to other people. That's the only way we feel good about ourselves. The truth of the matter is, though, you and I suck as people. We do humanity a disservice by just existing. Who wants, for real? Like, we do a disservice to humanity because when you think about all the potential you have and what you're not doing with that potential, right? You're made of stardust, right? The minerals of the earth are flowing in your veins and in your skin. But you working a 9 to 5, 40 hours a week, and then going home and going to bed and waking up to do it all over again. That's your existence. And we celebrate that. Am I saying I have a job? No, I'm just saying we are all failing our potential, and we can never reach our maximum potential without divine intervention and help.
We cannot reach our divine potential. No, we can't reach our potential without divine help.
And the Bible's the only thing I've seen explain that thoroughly. If you haven't noticed by now, I'm what they call a skeptic. I'm super skeptical of everything. I don't believe none of y'all, to be very honest with you. I just don't believe stuff. Like, I'm just like, okay, show me. You know, this is Missouri. Show me state still. Show me. If you can't show me, sit down somewhere. The Bible, I came with the Bible with the same attitude. The Bible, for me becoming I don't want to say Christian because who knows what that means these days. Me becoming a follower of Christ was a logical decision, not an emotional one. I wasn't the pastor going and in Oregon and, oh, give your life to Jesus. No, I'm not treating out like, Lord, oh God. Because you didn't produce a guilt trip in church. That's not what happened. What actually happened was, in fact, that stuff was a turnoff to me. I was like, oh, this looks like pimping to me. This looks like emotionalism. This is how you sell products. That's why in commercials they have music to go with commercials. Just peep game. You know, it's okay. Psychology of it is. It's okay. I read the Bible, though, and the Bible's the only thing that answers my questions.
Not saying God ain't an emotional God. You know
Absolutely.
He doesn't mourn for you and care for you.
Emotions are divine. It's just our emotions are corrupted. I mean, that's what allows you to interact with reality, and especially with other beings, is your emotions. People who don't have emotions we call sociopaths or psychopaths, which are not the same thing, by the way. But, I mean, just speaking honestly, whatever your belief system is, whatever it is, make sure it doesn't have holes. And if you can't teach it, then sit down until you don't speak on it until you can. Whatever it is. Because you might find someone like me, and I ain't going to lie to you, like, I'm not gentle. If you're going to come, if you're going to try to come and sell me a product, that I'm going to dedicate my life to, absolutely, I'm skeptical, and you should be too.
Yeah, and before people start, looking at you a certain way, I really want people to understand that, like, you talking about a belief system that you, like he just said, gonna dedicate your life to. You want to make sure it has the least amount of flaws as possible. You know what I'm saying? You ain't gonna just be a sucker and fall for anything. You know what I'm saying? You gonna peep game and you know what I'm saying. See, you know what I'm saying? Look for the holes, you know what I'm saying, and look for it, where it's true.
But actually search, though, because people be knuckleheaded. They just want to argue.
Well,
if your question gets answered, that's okay. I see the smoothness coming. Okay, cool. I see the smoothness coming.
Yeah.
And after those questions are satisfied, stop arguing. Stop fussing. Accept that until something better comes along in its theology, not in how it makes you feel.
You can be liberated because something make you feel good.
Yo, you can be chained because things make you feel good. Because our feelings are selfish. And we already talked about our own human, carnal, broken nature. And that's what you're trying to appease? If you're in a belief system that makes you feel great about yourself, you're probably barking up the wrong tree.
Mercy. And I know people like, man, I don't like this dude. I don't like the way that sounds. Like,
and I don't like my belief system. To be honest with you,
it just like, man, you don't know what I've been through, dog.
But here's the thing. No, I'm not, because I've had a lot of the same traumas. You know, they be like, you don't look like, thank God you don't look like your struggle. Like, we all, you know what I'm saying, the same hood story all of us go through. I get it. But that's the thing. You're trying to use your emotions to define a divine concept. If this thing, regardless of what you believe in, you're acknowledging that it existed before I did. So if it's bigger than you, then it can't be confined by your experiences. It should be able to explain your experiences, but it can't be contained by your experiences.
It can't be contained by your experience.
How are you going to evolve but still want to stay the same? When I talk to clients, well, this is how I was raised. Okay, is that working for you still? Is it working? No, it's not working. Then do something else. But you don't know what I've been through. Do I really have to, though? Do you want to be different? Do you want to evolve? And people say, you trying to say Christianity is the only way to do that? Like I said, please hear me loud and clear. I don't even know what Christianity is on now. Like, I don't know what it is, to be very honest with you. What I am saying is, this Bible, though, you talking about liberation, bro. You talking about liberation?
There's a way for you through.
Man, you start working, you're like, oh, that's why this is why this works this way. Oh, peace. Peace, man. Peace. Oh, that's why this works. Oh, okay.
And I'm like, a lot of people shoot the Bible down to prevent you from exploring what's in it.
Or they don't want it. Misery loves company, man.
Right. But give that Bible a try. Give that higher being or whatever you believe in. Go seek it.
I'll go deeper than that. Don't give it a try. Dive in. Quit just trying stuff. Dive in, man.
He said,
Y'all do the same thing with relationships. People just be trying with people. Let me just, like, people are like sampler platter. You know what I'm saying?
People dive into, like.
Nah. People and see, you about to make us get off topic. You always be doing this. But we here now. No. By and large, people do not dive in.
If they see you, match up to what they looking for.
People go as deep as they're emotionally stimulated. When they stop being emotionally stimulated, generally speaking, they are out of there. People are like, I don't love drama. Yes, you do. It stimulates you. You like that. Because peace is boring.
I mean, there's some truth to that.
Unity is boring. We like the drama. So we pick dramatic people to deal with.
Thank God for my wife, B.
Oh, shout outs.
You know what I'm saying, boo?
She on here?
Man,
Hey, Johnny, Shy.
But man, back to the topic, like, which God is real, man?
Oh, no, one God or many gods. Like I said, there's no answer to that. The question you got to ask yourself is, what are you gravitating to and why? Look at your own lifestyle.
We guys, man. We guys. Wow. You great women.
Forget that, like, you guys, but you... So, but, okay, yeah, I can say we're aliens too, or I can say that we're cows. Whatever word you're using to describe what I call humans. So, to the end, I probably am God. And...
He said,
And...
But it goes back to that validation thing. Like,
you just trying to be validated because you God till that bullet hit you. Now you calling on God.
so seek truth that doesn't validate. I guess validate your ego or whatever.
Not initially. Now what ends up happening is, as you dive into the Word of God, it's this circular thing that happens. It starts off exciting, then you get crushed, then Jesus picks up those pieces, and now you're better than when you first entered. But then you don't really feel better than you actually felt before, because the more you come to the truth, the more you become more aware, you start realizing just how messed up things are.
Like, dang, God.
It's like if you're eating unhealthy, you don't realize how unhealthy soda is if that's all you're drinking. But let go of soda for a moment and drink water and then try to drink soda again, your body has a violent reaction. So it's kind of like that. Like you start growing in God, but as you grow in God, the realization of what you actually are, you start feeling your own insignificance and your own, you start feeling your own sense of worthlessness. But the beauty is like, but that's okay because God got me.
That worthlessness.
It's this cycle you go through as you grow and evolve from what you were. And I've only seen the Bible explain that. But if you got some suggestions, please, what is this? Come reason together. Please post those, whatever, you know.
Right.
Because we just looking for truth. And for me, truth is defined with what's consistent, what doesn't fold in on itself. And please, people look at the Bible like, oh, we're going to find some inconsistencies. All I'm asking is study first. Because if you come at me with nonsense, if you try to come on this podcast with nonsense that you have not looked and studied yourself, it's one thing not to know. It's another thing to not study enough to know.
I mean, but for some folks, that just might be a learner reality.
Yeah, and I'm like, we be prepared for a very harmful, embarrassing learning reality because you can't come to people with stuff you haven't studied yourself. That's why I don't down people's belief systems. I just ask questions about them. If you tell me, hey, look, man, computers are really gods, I'm like, okay, let's sit down and talk. Because I know people who are hackers.
I know people who are hackers.
So how does that work? Explain.
Well, damn.
But we do rah, 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 how dare you, blah, blah, blah. You get assaulted because you don't, your defense mechanisms kicked in because you don't really got to answer to something that you hold dear. And please, this whole, oh, his thoughts are above our thoughts. That's true. That's why he made the Bible so we can understand. Please, let's, again.
Oh, he gonna go there with
Just saying, man. Just saying. So it's not about how many guys there are, the guys are not. What are you doing about what you know and what are you chasing down? What are you chasing down? Or are you just using that as an excuse to not have to change your lifestyle that you're not really happy with anyway?
And some people are living the fullest of what they know. It just,
And that's real.
they haven't met somebody to expose.
You should always, as confident as I am in my belief system, I also understand I don't know everything, and I'm always open to have my mind changed.
Right. And you know how it is with, you know, Christianity. It seems like the only thing we are in agreement with, bro, or the following of Christ, whatever you want to call it, is Christ, bro. Yeah.
No, we don't really agree with that either. Like, man, look,
We believe, you know, he died on the cross.
straight out, like, Protestant religion's on some foolishness right now. And, like, nobody wants to say it, and that's fine. That's fine. But they about to shut down this podcast anyway, so I might as well get it all in. Because that's what I'm talking about. They don't have whole religions be having contradictory theologies.
But nobody's, how do you address it, man?
You address it. Man, look, religions are made of people. Ain't nobody better or less than Travis. If you're trying to sell me on the idea, we're going to deal with your idea you're trying to sell me. And if it's legit, I'm going to be all on board, bro. I'll go so hard. If it's not, I'm just going to ask you questions. If you get mad at my questioning, that is a reflection of your own insecurities about your own belief system. Get your pill solid.
You silly, man.
Get your pill solid.
But at the same time, people got to be aware to, you know what is and what's not, man, regarding, you know, doctrine, theology, and stuff like that.
Start with what you know.
Start with what you know.
Start with what you know. I was talking to this guy, you know, because I do mentoring and all that. And the gentleman, he's like, yo, man, I'm a good person. I just, you know, just because I sell drugs, you know, don't mean I'm a good person. I got to provide for my kids. This is what he knows. This is his theology.
Flipping.
Right? This is his life doctrine, whatever you want to call it. And I said, okay, well, let's start with your life doctrine. I didn't come at him about the gospel. I didn't hit him with, well, Jesus said that, oh, how can you not compare our communities? I started with his life doctrine. I said, so you're a good person? He's like, yeah. Now, mind you, this guy was young. He's like 24, 25, already got like 8 kids by 4 or 5 different women. I said, so you're a good person, but I said, can I just be honest with you? He's like, yeah. I said, you're a good person. So you had the first child. You know you didn't really have the means to take care of them because life is hard, as you said, and you decided to have 8 more? Mm-hmm. I said, you don't deal drugs because you're trying to provide for your family. You deal drugs because you don't want to deal with being humiliated at the job.
What do you mean humiliated?
Because, unfortunately, when we talk about parenting, people sometimes only give their children a sense of pride and nothing else. You got pride, and I pride in myself, but you ain't got no skills. You can't do nothing. Seriously, you ain't helping nobody. But I got pride, though. I'm a king. So that's what you come with. And so it's hard for you to work at a job, even though in the long term, you're actually making more money at McDonald's than you would on the street. Seriously, this ain't the 80s and 90s. There ain't a lot of money in the drug game no more. There's some people out here doing it big. It's extreme. You might as well go to the NBA, bro. But most of the drug dealers you know and I know are nickel and diming their way through life. Out here risking their life for a dime bag. Get out of here, bro. Still living. Anyway, don't own nothing. Don't own no nothing. You've been drug dealing. You've been doing this profession for a long time and have nothing to show for it. But a bunch of risk and heartache. But anyway, I said, so you're not selling drugs because provide for your kids, right? You're selling drugs because you feel safer doing that than having to develop a new skill and feel insecure. I said, if I had to write your story, would you be the villain or the hero? If the truth was told. And he's a real dude. Real dude. He looked at me. He was like, I never thought about it like that. I actually would be the villain. I said, would you consider it, by your definition, not by mine, would you consider this person a good person? He's like, no, I wouldn't. So what happened just then? He had a paradigm shift. Right? What he did, we didn't talk about Jesus, we didn't talk about God, but he realized his life doctrine of how he saw himself was incorrect. He saw the inconsistency, and that made him pause. Start there.
Okay, I see you.
See what I'm saying? Start there. These existential questions, who's the gods and the cosmos, start with you and your life. Why is your life doctrine contradictory? And I believe you start going that journey, it'll start taking you to the divine. Start there, though. And you got to start there by being honest with yourself.
And you said it's going to lead.
Yeah, because what you're going to do, you start going through that process, you realize the Bible starts, because you're going to go through a lot of angst, it's an uncomfortable process, to be honest with you. And I don't care what your background is. It doesn't matter if you're drilling drugs or you are the CEO of Microsoft. You start going through that deep thing about yourself, like being honest with yourself. Because the Bible doesn't lie. Man is broken.
The Bible ain't no respecter of person.
Yeah, it's not saying the Bible didn't make you broken. The Bible is pointing out a fact. So whether you believe in the Bible or not, this is still true. And as you start examining yourself, you start realizing it's true. And now you got to answer that. You're a good person, but you keep doing this, this, and this. So now you got to make excuses. Well, you're doing the same thing you claim religion does. Oh, I'm a good person. I just sometimes do this on the side, Well, you just said you're a good person, though. Give yourself the same scrutiny you give everything else.
That same energy.
Keep that, man. That is my phrase. Keep that same energy. Yes. The principle didn't change. You just try to switch up because it's hard. And I am telling you, newsflash, everything's hard.
Everything is hard.
Everything's hard.
Show me something that ain't, man.
Bro, I don't care what life path you're going down, man. Like, life is hard, bro. And even that's explained in the Bible. Come on now, Genesis. Even that's explained. That's what I'm saying. It's just too many answers. Like, I'm like, man, why is this? I'm seeing these inconsistencies in the world. I'm like, why is? And the Bible's just like, oh. And I look at it, and I'm just like, geez, Louise, that does explain that. I didn't like it. I stopped reading the Bible for like 2 years because I did not like the fact that questions were getting answered. It was extremely uncomfortable.
Too much clarity, boy.
It was too much clarity. I'm like, no, I need the darkness. I need the dimness, bro. Because in the dimness, I can say things are there that aren't, and blame it on the fact I can't see. You become woke. If you're really woke, it makes you want to go back to sleep. If you're really, I'm woke. If you're really woke, it makes you want to go back into a coma because things were easy when your eyes were closed. When you woke, see, when your eyes are like kind of halfway open, you have that sleep in your eye, you start saying stuff like, oh, we just need a revolution. Then if you really woke, though, you realize all revolution does is just a revolving door. Right? People on the outside get upset until they're on the inside, then they become exactly what they hated when they were on the outside. That's America's story. We want freedom from Britain.
Yeah, whoa.
We want freedom from Britain. We deserve to be free. Yeah. And then you had slaves. It just the rebel becomes king and then becomes just like the king before him. It's a story as old as time. That's woke. You don't want to be that awake though. You just kind of want to be half awake.
Yeah, man, because when you woke, man, that comes with accountability.
Woke will have you in your room curled up in a ball and not want to come outside.
You aware, man.
When you realize even the air is killing you, you don't want to be woke. You want to be intellectually ignorant. You understand? You just want to be impressive.
Like, man, like, I'm more aware now than I ever was, like, when it comes to this food thing, man. Like,
You start realizing people are trying to just kill you, bro. Like why you want to kill me, McDonald's?
and it's not fair, bro.
It's not fair,
it's hard,
bro.
like a mug to eat right. It's
They put
easier,
addictive substances in the food to make you keep eating the food that's actually destroying you.
bro. It's
Facts.
and
Like,
chicken joints everywhere, bro. My life was a lot easier when I can pull up to a Church's, KFC.
now you know what's in it. You know what's in it. It's just like, dang.
So I'm like, where do I turn?
Dang.
You know what I'm saying? I still struggle with it, but I'm fighting harder.
They got gelatin and everything. I can't eat Skittles, cuz. Why you got pig and Skittles? Why do you need pig and Skittles? Like, why do you need that?
Bro, they got pig and soap.
Like, why? Why? First of all, how many pigs are there in the world? Good night. Good night. You just got into products. Same thing with sugar. Sugar and everything.
Oh, yeah.
But you want to be woke? Research sugar. And how it should be labeled as a drug.
Should be illegal.
Just research it. I'm not making stuff up. But this is woke. This the woke. People don't want to be that woke. No, not that woke. You want to, like I said, you want your eyes like half eyes open. So I think that's a shape. Come on, bro. Ain't nothing new that ain't been happening.
Because that accountability and that responsibility.
Accountability and responsibility. And then having your world shattered. Because all of us were raised wrong.
Dang,
All of us were raised wrong, bro.
Socialization.
Our parents did the best. I'm not saying like our parents did the best they could, but they're in a system that's saying be this way, and they were just like, yeah. And then you got rewarded for being that way. The ideas of degrees makes no sense because it's not a skill, but it's treated as such. But it doesn't make sense. That's woke. Yeah, woke will have you out here trying to live off the land, bro. Like, get your little, build your, like, I ain't eating nothing that don't kill myself. I ain't trusting nobody I don't know personally. And I'm out here in the woods, bro. Like, leave me alone. I'm done with humanity.
You got a car, but that's polluting the earth. Like dang, bro.
You know who's like really woke? Recluses. Recluses be super woke. They were like, oh, no, government trying to take everything. We live in trees.
Recluses.
Yeah, recluses. Like people who like get out, like escape society. Like with hermits, they like kind of live off the land, sort of, kind of.
Outskirts.
Yeah, we call them weird, and they're just like, no, y'all weird. They right. We are all supporting the system that has been shown not to work, and we keep supporting it like it is working. I'll give you another. All right, we're talking about again being. Oh, I'm woke. I'm woke. Oh, woke. You don't want these truths, bro. You don't want them. Think about it. We're like, yo, we're going to fight for equality. So we're going to act the same system that it created the concept of equality to give us equality. How do you think that's going to work? How has it been working? And people are like, oh, we've made changes. Have you? Have you? Have you? You think they stopped slavery for you? You think that's why it was stopped? You sure? Go research.
Mercy.
So that's what you think? Had nothing to do with technology and cotton and America wanted to become a world power. You can't do that if you still have open slavery in your society? Is that what you're saying? So they just created a prison system where they kind of made you slaves anyway? No? We don't want to talk about that? So I'm saying, like, but when you read the Word of God, because that's the problem with the Word of God, it makes you real woke. And you're like, oh, this... You realize why Solomon is just like, vanity, vanity. None of this matters. I'm like, bro, that's woke. Woke will send you to apathy. That's what woke does.
So basically, y'all, man, like, all roads lead to the word. Like,
don't fight it.
Travel down that road and seek,
But start with your own life doctrine. Don't try to solve the thing of the cosmos and you ain't dealt with yourself. Start with your own life doctrine.
Start with yourself.
Start from there. Start with what you know instead of hiding behind what you don't and can't prove one way or the other.
Say that again, man. Say that one more time.
Start with what you know instead of what you don't and can't prove one way or the other.
on.
Because
Man.
there's something in you that knows something's off. Not with the world. I'm talking about with you. You know you're crazy and don't know why. Examine. Why isn't your life doctrine matching up with your actions? Why can't you? It's like you can't help yourself, huh? Yeah. Born in sin and shaped in iniquity. Yeah.
The word.
Yeah, don't fight it. Don't fight it. Start with yourself, though. Go talk.
Man, God can't lie, man. He can't, like, you know what I'm saying? Contradict or, you know.
And here's the thing. You come with things that you think are contradictory, yo, hit stuff up. Come Reason Together Radio, inbox them, whatever. This topic came because someone suggested it.
Yeah. Real talk.
Drop a topic, we'll explore it.
Right. So, expose God here, y'all, if y'all.
Come on.
Feel, you
And
know,
we're
God.
putting ourselves out there because you may come through something we may like, yo, we might get y'all next episode. We got to study this.
Yeah.
That's fine, too.
Down for
Come Reason Together. Stefan ain't playing. Steph the messenger, man.
he's silly, man. It's just a platform, man, to provide, you know, that clarity that, you know, we missing when it comes especially to this, you know, Christianity or Christ, Bible-believing thing, man. That clarity is needed, man, to teach people or, you know, how to see the word of God and understand God and his word and live it, apply it, you know, that practicality.
Live and apply.
And there's some empowerment in that too, man. So be empowered by the clarity. It ain't just to, you know, beat you down and stuff like that.
Yo, when we going to put this on, like, these podcasts on, like, different streams? We got to get to that.
Yeah, that's coming too, man. So,
Because we got, like, 10 episodes. I think we need to start releasing this. I mean, I love y'all on Facebook, but we need to, you know.
man. And, man, just be wanting y'all feedback too, man. It's so many of y'all out there who be talking this, that, and the third about the Bible and church and all that, man.
Until you present it with until you really are giving up. Until you are faced with someone who's willing to answer those questions. Don't be afraid of answers. Don't be afraid of answers. Forget about us, because we broken too.
Yeah.
But if this resonates, sit down and chew on that. Chew on it. If it resonates, because this may be God trying to speak to you. But who knows? Maybe I'm sent by an evil spirit. Go back, watch. If it resonates, go off of that. Go off. If it resonates, sit down with that. And if this is wrong, come check us.
Come check it.
Come check us, man.
So, yeah, world, man. Appreciate y'all. Stay tuned. Come Reason Together Radio. Come Reason Together Radio. True clarity, perspective.